Now, Bruno Mars, Rihanna and Daft Punk may have seen a large amount of their bounty go to the bottom of Davy Jones' lockers. This year's Musicmetric's digital pirate chart winners have seen their songs illegally downloaded on BitTorrent over 64 million times this year. But could this illegal downloading activity actually help unlock some information that may prove valuable to artists? Joining us is Gregory Mead, CEO of Symmetric, which owns Musicmetric. Gregory, good to see you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
For joining us. Bruno Mars and Rihanna both downloaded more than 5 million times in 2013. Is that all illegal downloads? Are you measuring sort of illegal and
that's downloads
legal?
On BitTorrent network.
That's all on BitTorrent.
That's
right.
So that's people downloading their new albums or new singles.
Do you have any comparison with how that compares with like iTunes downloads?
Well, actually, iTunes. For example, Bruno Mars has had many more sales than illegal downloads, so he's actually doing very well. And I think those three artists were amongst the top bestsellers of the year as well. So that's
there is you know, if you're going to be one of the best sellers of the year, therefore it follows you're going to have one of the biggest batches of BitTorrent downloads as well.
That kind of follows.
But if that's the case, you say that, look, there could be some useful analytics from BitTorrent downloads. What would it be?
Well, the thing is with BitTorrent is very global data, so you can start drilling down to what areas regionally an artist is popular. You can also see what other people are downloading, along with, say, the new Bruno Mars release. So you can start profiling fans all the way down to a town or a city level. So it's very useful market information.
Why wouldn't you know that from legal downloads?
Well, you may know it in the countries where that music's being distributed, but this being global, you can start looking at other areas where maybe people can't actually even buy it and start targeting those.
Okay, so could you use that information to say maybe we need to market in that space?
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
how you're thinking about it?
That's how record labels and managers use that kind of data, yeah.
How does this combine with then the use, because you're also measuring social,
yeah,
right?
A lot of similar data from social.
An awful lot of measurements of social. How do the two combine?
Well, you can get similar data from, similar insights from, say, Twitter data, but also things like Spotify streams. And actually, we've seen that Spotify is really helping to reduce piracy in areas where that service is available. And there's data that shows that when people sort of moving from downloading illegally to more legal services.
Are Spotify and Deezer, are they reducing illegal downloads?
They are certainly contributing to that downwards trend. And there is a downwards trend, and it's
there is a downwards trend. So what is the future looking like?
The future looks
for
like
artists and protecting their IP and trying to generate more revenue.
Well, recent things from Spotify being very artist-centric now, and I think the future shows a lot more streaming services, and that's going to start becoming much more mainstream around the world. So.
Does it feed back into, do you think, incremental revenue? I mean, because this idea is actually the more people that listen to your product, even if a lot of them are doing it for free, actually go back for more, and you might generate some greater sales than you would have done.
Yeah, I suppose there's a small conversion rate, I suppose, people downloading to sales, but also there's obviously tours and merchandise and other areas where artists can start capitalizing. So there's brand partnerships and a whole load of new revenue opportunities in the music industry.
Yeah, when you talk about how precise this BitTorrent data is, I mean, how granular does it get? Because you don't know who their people are.
No, it's anonymous data, so you don't know who they are, but you know sort of the regions down to a city level, so you can start showing global heat maps of where an artist is popular, and maybe find pockets of fans where they're growing in popularity.
So if you're doing a tour date, you might say, well, if we only had one date in Birmingham, actually there's a lot of people, but we would
exactly,
put
yeah,
another night on.
Yeah, maybe do another date there, or it's certainly more useful for smaller acts that are more breaking, because I think obviously Bruno Mars probably knows where he's popular.
Yes, yeah. Which would be and can you measure the sort of do you see groups that are sort of growing in popularity that yet record labels haven't necessarily latched onto?
That's very valuable.
So are you going to be in the A&R business?
We do work with A&R, and it's very valuable information. And actually, a lot of the useful aspects of BitTorrent is the real-time nature of it, so you can rapidly pick up on trends and how they're different around the world.
And what is the when you're because presumably bands themselves could use.
Yeah. So we have.
This. I mean, they set up their own labels. I mean,
Right.
the world is different now. You don't actually have to sign with somebody, do you? You just go out and talk direct to your audience.
Yeah, we have many artists using our services, and we even have a free service for them, and they do use that. So
Is how much? Just a final question. How much of a correlation is there if you've got a huge Twitter following, and you know, you said, hey, look, and you used. I'm wondering actually the power of things like Twitter and social media to influence what your followers do. Whether they, you know, if someone's got a big Twitter following, Facebook following, and you say, go and do this, will people do? What do you know? What
yes.
reaction you get on that? Is it?
And it differs across artists.
Yeah.
So certain artists have very loyal fans, and they'll literally do anything. So if an artist says, go look at this video, that video will suddenly get millions of views. There's artists like Katy Perry and
Right.
the big artists like that. But yes, it's a very good medium for interacting with fans and sort of engaging with them, getting them to hopefully buy your stuff.
Yeah, which is because it's commercialization is not just about the music, right? It's about the music stars understand it's everything.
That's right.
Yeah, that they've got to know. Great, good to talk to you. Merry, I'm saying Merry New Year because you know we're in this period between New Year and Christmas. People never know. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
Is it Christmus? Is it New Year? So I say Merry New Year because
Well, thank you.
good to see you. See you in 2014. That's Mead from Musicmetric. Let's get a final thought from Ricardo Barbier, Chief European Economist at Mizuho International.